Appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, you good? Did you get everything out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
What's going on, everybody? We hope everybody's out there doing well in this pandemic and a host of other things we've been dealing with in 2020. My name is CJ. I have the pleasure today of interviewing a great brother of mine, Tre Lee, aka Tre Lee. Some of y'all might know him as. So man, basically today, I kind of wanted to talk with him about, what he got going on. I mean, how long it been since we did the first interview?
3 years, man.
Yeah, 3 years. So, so since then, from what I know and what I want to learn more about today is, we got a new project coming up, a new album that's about to drop. So what we're going to do today is, kind of dive deep into his head and, kind of get into why he made the album and, how he wants it to relate to us. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it.
Yes, sir.
The first thing I noticed about the album was the title. I noticed the acronyms. All right, so just kind of walk me through why you chose the acronyms and kind of what they mean and kind of, what's behind all of that.
Got you. So the acronyms are What Better Time Than Now, WBTTN.
Yeah.
It's so many different meanings behind What Better Time Than Now, but I'll hit on a couple. It's almost a flip or the remix of saying give people their flowers now while they yet can smell them. Also enjoying your flowers that people give you as well. That's the point of the rose at the end. So the purpose of the rose is to represent now. And I think that's what we do as people. We don't do a good job of cherishing the now. We are so focused on what the past looked like, and we're so focused on how the future is going to turn out that when we get to now, we just pass over, we skip over. So trying to let people understand, like, hey, you should enjoy your now, you should cherish now, embrace now. But also the other flip to What Better Time Than Now is me being able to come out and be truthful about what I deal with. See, people, they look at your life and all they see is the outside, but nobody see the inside. Nobody knows what you're wrestling with. They don't know what you're struggling with. And for me, I've been struggling for a while with a general anxiety disorder. So this album is me taking the opportunity to speak about that and put it out there in the world and show people how I'm walking through it. By the grace of God, every day is a different day, but God has given me the grace to walk through it. So those are the different meanings behind What Better Time Than Now. So many other titles that this project was going to be called, but What Better Time Than Now sticks out. Just even look at the world now. Like, I feel like this is so fitting for what's going on in the world. Like, 2020 has been a movie. Like, there's no way you could have predicted all these things. So what better time than now?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey man, like I say, cool title. When I seen it, I was intrigued with the colors. I loved how you had your wife, up there with you. I like the, the Kobe and Gigi dedication. So, I mean, kudos on that already. So before everybody listen to it, I think they're gonna love the album cover already.
Yeah, man. Had to show that black love, and also What Better Time Than Now. Another flip thinking about Kobe and Gigi. Like, it's no way possible we would have thought we would have lost Kobe Bryant.
Oh yeah.
And losing him, that right there, man. That goes to show you, like, you got to enjoy your now, man, because you never know when the time is going to come.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Rest in peace, Kobe, Gigi, and also the other victims.
Exactly.
On that crash as well. Like I say, that still hurts me to this day. So absolutely. So Flo, one thing you mentioned when you was explaining the title was you were saying about how sometimes people can have a misinterpretation about how your life is, or whatever. So, from my perspective, someone that thinks, I'm pretty close to you, probably one of the closest people to you other than, your wife and, your parents and stuff like that. But, you say that you deal with some type of mental issues, whatever, and I hope that you feel comfortable sharing that with us. But I don't see that in you, when I see you doing your music and things like that, because, you're extremely talented. And, from what I understand is people that deal with stuff like that can't get to where they could come up with the album, let alone multiple albums like you have done. So, if you don't mind sharing with us, how did you find peace? I know it's been 3 years since we last did this. So with with your past troubles or current troubles, whatever you're dealing with right now, kind of tell us about how did you get through that during this time, and what prompted you to go out and create this project you got now.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. And let's if there's time and opportunity, I would like to just be straightforward with it.
Oh yeah.
So the thing is, man, I can remember the doctor office visit, and I'll never forget the day we found out that our daughter had no heartbeat. And that was something to me and Whitney that we it was hard to deal with. And then I can also remember within that same week, her mom passing from cancer. I can remember those things, but vividly, I feel like the straw that broke the camel back took place in 2018, and I remember I just remember it so vividly. I remember it was in January. Was it February? It was January, February. But I can remember Aunt Gladys, our auntie, our great auntie, who was very special to us. She was almost like a second grandmother to us.
Right.
She passed, and I'll never forget how we was at grandma's house, and we was all just laughing. And me knowing that I was about to have to take doing my third surgery, and this was going to be the hardest surgery because I was going to have to get a piece of my bone removed from my hip to be put in my jaw with the metal that's already in there. And I can remember leaving that Sunday saying, God, if you can do anything for me, please don't take my grandmother away until, just don't take her away at all. Like, allow me to be able to heal before anything happens to her.
Right.
And I'll never forget after the surgery, man, and which was something that was hard to... It took me a while to actually physically recover. My face took almost a year to get back structured in the right way.
Right.
But man, I remember like getting a call from Megan, and she saying that, hey, grandma's not doing too well. Matter of fact, she texted us in the group message and said, hey, the doctors are saying that there might not be much else that they can do.
Right.
And man, I was hurt because I knew I still wasn't clear from the doctor to be able to go back to work nor drive. And as soon as I got clearance, I'll never forget hopping in the car on a Wednesday trying to get there to see grandma. Right. And I remember seeing her, and I just felt helpless because I couldn't do nothing for her. Yeah. And man, the other struggle was the fact that Whitney was pregnant. Yeah. And so King is due anytime now, and grandma ends up, getting to a point where she's about to transition. So I'm trying to be in two places at one time. I'm trying to help two people at one time. And it's like I'm losing it, man, because I can't. I'm trying to be, like I said, I'm trying to be Superman. And basically, I never forget, grandma passes, and Whitney, and I always tell her I apologize, but she tried her best to get to the funeral with me.
Right.
But I was so nervous that something was going to happen to her and King.
Exactly, because you're already dealing with what happened with your daughter.
Exactly.
So I can only imagine kind of,
exactly,
that amount of stress.
And that's what going through my mind. So I'm telling Whitney no, and so I call her grandma and say, hey, can you come down here, Mama G, stay with Whitney till I go down here to the funeral. And Whitney, she was a little bit like, Floyd, but I need to be there to support you. But I told her the best support she could give me is actually staying in South Haven as I went to Greenville to see my do farewells to our grandmother.
Right.
And man, to this day I still apologize for that, but I was hurt, man, because I just felt like I couldn't do nothing for our grandmother. And then King come, and I never had the time to really grieve. And I think that's when I just got to a point where I started asking God, like, man, who are you? Like, I really went on a spiritual journey to figure out like who God really was. Like it's been a journey, and I'm still on the journey. But the grace of it is that I found God. He's revealed himself to me so many times, to the point that the faith that I had back then, it was weak. That faith was weak because it was living off of my grandmother's faith.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But the faith that I have now is living off what I know, the foundation that God has helped me build as I've gone forward to see who God truly is.
Yeah,
and that's how the journey begins, to me actually having the opportunity to speak about all these things. And that's how Honesty Brings Healing is built, because it comes from me having to be honest with myself and realizing, like, Floyd, you got a lot going on, and you got to figure out how to deal with it. But the issue that I wrestled with the most was like, how in the world can somebody like me that believe in God like I do is strong start to doubt him? Right. And that set me out on this journey, man.
Yeah, well, like I say, for me, just hearing and, kind of going through some of that with you, with the passing of our grandmother and our, great auntie and stuff like that, I can say that, I mean, it's encouraging for me to see someone like you, like I say, someone, that's a minister, and, someone that I look up to, to see you being that vulnerable and, then and even now, speaking out definitely encourages me because a lot of times, black men, we tend to have this attitude, where we just brush stuff under the rug, we just keep going. We don't, you said something, we don't grieve. Right. You know what I mean? And, for you to be open like you are right now, it's definitely encouraged me. It's definitely helped me. I'm sure somebody out here watching this right now, it's the same thing. And, just to go back to your album title, it's, let's start now. Right. Let's start getting help now. Right. Let's start grieving. Let's start being honest. Let's start. Giving it to God. Let's really start doing it because I mean, what better time than now?
Exactly. I mean, that's it. Like you opening yourself up to saying, you know what, where people always try to find like where do I start healing? Right. Where do I start being honest? Where do I start to just show people who I really am? And it's like you said, like, what better time than now? Like, you don't have any other time. You can't go back 5 years from now and fix that. I can't go back to 2018 and redo 2018. But what I can do right here and now is start to find healing. Right. And start to speak truth and be honest with it. Because at the end of the day, the truth is, man, if I'm honest about it, regardless to who wants to be honest about their issues, it starts to make other people feel like, man, you know what? I can be more vulnerable. At least I know there's somebody I can talk to when I'm struggling with something that I don't want other people to know. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. And like I say, you've been a big advocate, with mental health and about speaking out more, within the past, year or two. So definitely kudos to you. Like I said, I notice it. I'm sure our, brothers and friends notice it. Our family notice it. And, with this album, I really hope, the people that don't know you yet, I hope they can, get that from this interview as well, and also, more important from the album.
Exactly.
Yeah. Definitely appreciated you for, being vulnerable, sharing it, with me, with us. Yeah. Like I said, I definitely think that's some stuff, others can take and use that to be encouraged.
And real quick, man, I also had to say thank you to you, bro. You and your wife, man, y'all were there for us. Like, I remember that, like I said, from the miscarriage to Whitney Mom Patch, just through it all, y'all were there. Like, y'all stopping by, you know what I'm saying? I can remember my goddaughter, your daughter, and she seen my face after surgery. Like, she was like, I don't know about that guy. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. And I would like to speak to us there real quick, too, man. Just the fact, I lost a lot of confidence, man. Like, my face was swole for like I said, it was disfigured for a while, and I lost confidence, man. Like, to the point it bothered my self-esteem. Like, I even gained weight that, man, like I think I gained at least like 20 pounds over that span because I just didn't care. And after the wires came out of my mouth, I just started eating, man. Yeah. And it's crazy because I've never been a person that eat my feelings away, Right. But I think I just found comfort in not caring no more, you know what I'm saying? Right. And by the grace of God, I'm thankful for people like you and Tre Lee getting into the fitness thing, because that got me to the point where now I done lost all that weight. Not only that, shout out to Pastor Shun and shout out to Steven, because those boys, they walked with me, man. They prayed with me, like literally crying in the church, praying with me. So I appreciate those people, and shout out to my wife, because as much as she go through, she stayed strong enough to stand by me through it all too. So I just had to make sure I gave the flowers to those people that were there for me.
Accept it, man. Humbly accept it, man. Definitely appreciate that. Shout out to everybody, man. Like like I said, we're not in this alone. We do this together all the time. So we're gonna continue to do that. So, you kind of walked us through the album title. You kind of gave us, some meaning about it. How you got from A to B, kind of the journey you went through. So, I can feel the passion behind the album, so I'm extremely excited to hear it. Hopefully you let me hear it before everybody else.
Right.
But hey, man, but just to speak on the album a little bit, how long did it take you to make it? I mean, how long, has it been 3 years in the making, or is this something that, kind of just came up this year, or kind of speak more on that?
Actually, I started writing What Better Time Than Now, and it wasn't What Better Time Than Now then. It was actually TG4EIG, thanking God for everything I got, because that was me masking, saying that I was thankful for everything, even though, because everybody was like, Floyd, you strong, you and Whitney, y'all strong, y'all done been through this. So I was like, well, I'm thankful. But the truth was, I really wasn't thankful. But that was just me masking it. So that's what the album title was. And me and Lamar, we started writing back in 2018. Like, every song that you're going to hear on this album was already written. Okay. And some of it was recorded in 2018. But actually, getting in, full effect and sticking with the concept, that didn't start to 2019. Gotcha. And that's when people heard Glory Bag. So that's the actual first single from the album. This album was supposed to come out in 2019 around October, I believe. But the thing was, man, we didn't have it together. Financially, it just wasn't stable. Right. And, man, shout out to Lamar, man. That dude, that's another brother that I have to give flowers to, man, because he's been sticking with me through the road. Like, man, even when we didn't have the money to pay for studio time, Lamar I got it. If we needed an extra beat, I got it. If we needed some promo, he had it. Videos, when we shot Level Up, he helped me pay for that. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate Lamar for that too. But shout out to Lamar, man, my A&R manager and my bro. So we started writing this album in 2018. It was TG4EIG then. 2019, that's when it became Honesty Brings Healing. So that was the name of the album, Honesty Brings Healing. But then eventually, me and Whitney turned it into a actual non-profit and clothing line. So that's something that people can support. Honesty Brings Healing. Oh, yeah. And you see it on our shirt. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so from there, What Better Time Than Now came about around the February time when we started with Glory Bag. And from then on, we've been recording, and we didn't finish recording this album until May 29th, 2020.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so good a couple of months ago.
Okay. Good to know, man. So what are some of your musical inspirations? I mean, I know you love music. I know you listen to a good variety. So, what are some that inspired your current project now?
Man, Life Jennings. That album inspired and full effect the whole What Better Time Than Now album. Why? Because What Better Time Than Now is like an actual story that it goes from the funeral of grandma's funeral, and it goes up into leading to right now presently. So you from track 1 on down to track 13, you get a story. So Life Jennings' album, his very first album, I'm pretty sure some people might be young and don't remember his album. Some people may be old enough to remember. Must Be Life was the hottest single that he had out at the time. But that album spoke to me because it told a story. Like, it began with this guy that was a stick-up kid. He fell in love with the girl. They had their issues. They had kids. She put him on child support. Out of child support, he ended up going back to being a stick-up kid so he could pay for child support. Yeah. Got locked up in jail. After being locked up in jail, he got out, started to find God. But he never said he was spiritually healed. Yeah. But how he ended it was that he found peace in the midst of everything he was going through. And that whole album played a big part in how I wanted to tell my story, because he was so vulnerable. He even started talking about him having a disease, a sexual disease transmitted from having sexual relation with this certain woman and stuff like that. He had just got that honest on this album, and that's how honest my album is, to the point where you get to see mentally where I was and how I was thinking. So that album inspired a lot of how I went about writing this What Better Time Than Now.
Cool, man. Hey, man, shout out to Life Jennings, man.
Right, shout out to Life Jennings.
Oh,
hopefully
he
hit me up or something.
Oh yeah, that's a good one, man. That's good to know. I never would have expected that. I'll be honest, it's been a while since I listened to a Life Jennings song. But, when you start speaking on, kind of this, older stuff and kind of the meaning behind his albums, I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that when I was listening to those songs. Right. I never dive deep into it like, things like you have. So that's good, man. Like I say, it just makes it more exciting for me to listen to.
No, man, it's a story. Like I said, it goes from the funeral on down to literally present day now.
Yeah. So, to speak on present day now, so, obviously 2020 has been one for the ages, to say the least.
Yes.
We're dealing with the pandemic. We're dealing with, major figures like Kobe Bryant, suddenly passing away. We're dealing with social injustice, all around the United States. Just a lot going on. It's a lot to handle, So, so I was looking through your track list, and I seen something on there called Free, all right? Kind of speak more to that song. Is that something that pertains to kind of what's going on right now with the social justice that we're dealing with, or is that something that it just came about with the current actions?
It's like I said, man, you can't make this stuff up, man. Like, God has been in the mix of all of this. This song Free, once again, was another song written back in 2018.
Yeah.
But it wasn't recorded till 2019.
Okay.
So there's no way possible I could have thought we'll be in this position now. So Free, it includes the vocals of Joshua Perkins, and it also features my boy Jody Boy from Jackson, Mississippi. And the song is not only talking about social injustice, but it's talking about breaking the chains of being mentally barred down from the depression of life, the oppression of life, and just people in general trying to keep you down in this place, a systemic world that we live in. Like, it's people trying to box you in this box and you trying to break free.
Right.
So that's what the song is about. But there is a line in there that speaks to social injustice. It goes, just another day, another black man got shot, one by a black man, another by a cop. And that speaks to what we're going through. So I didn't just skip over the fact that we're dying by our own hands, but I also spoke towards the fact that cops are killing us as well. Like, it's like, as a black man, it's so hard to live in America. It's like the rules that were set up to be black, it's almost like you're supposed to fail. And so I feel like, as a black man, when you finally find true freedom and peace, man, the world can't stop you. Like, the enemy is already trying to bring you down, but the world cannot stop you. It's like, man, you running on air, and there's no way they can keep you chained down. So that's the whole point of Free.
Absolutely. Hey, man, I'm super excited to hear that. And, before we go forward, just, rest in peace to all the individuals, whose life has been taken away unjustly, and, definitely special prayer to all the families of those victims. And, just know we're here for you, we're praying for you, and, we pray that one day we could, overcome all of this.
Amen.
So, back to the album. So, based on everything you shared with us today, from your why you got there, kind of your inspiration, the song Free, with that alone, I'm thinking it's a classic. But I want to know from you, classic is something that's, definitely thrown around a lot. We hear that a lot. Oh, that's classic, that's classic. So, what does classic mean to you? And, in your opinion, would you consider this project a classic?
That's a good question, man. Classics, I feel like they grow with they are timely, meaning like they can go in any time. Like I said, Life Jennings, that was so back when I was in the 7th grade, and I'm still playing Life Jennings now. I think about John Legend, Get Lifted. That's a classic to me. Kanye West, College Dropout, Graduation, all those, that's classic to me. J. Cole, 2014, Forest Hill Drive. That's what I consider a classic, an album that I could play in any time of my life. Not only that also I consider classics when you don't gotta skip one song, like you just let it play. Like you don't skip one song, and every time you go back you find something new. For me, I will allow people that listen to the album to call it a classic before I do. It's a classic to me because it's me being honest. I'm not competing with nobody. I'm not trying to be the best rapper alive. I'm just hoping that I make an album that people can listen to and they can find their own healing. They can find their own peace within the chaos, within the madness that we live in. Because, man, right now, like you said, 2020, it's an uncertainty time because anything is happening, you know. And with that being said, so I will allow what better time than now to be judged by everybody else. To me, it's a classic, but I want to see what other people say when they listen to it.
Yeah. Southside, for life, that be my sight that I rep till I die. Tre Lee.
Absolutely, man. Well, like I say, I'm rooting in a classic already.
Hey, I appreciate
it. If my opinion count for anything, it's a classic, and I'm not just throwing that out there. And I truly believe that. So, you know, with all that being said, you know, when people sit down, whenever, you know, when you're releasing it, people sit down, listen to the album, you know, what do you want people to take from it? Like, when they get done listening, what type of feeling do you want the people to have?
One thing for sure, I will hope that me being a big advocate for mental health, I will hope that in the black community we stop being afraid to speak about dealing with mental health. Yeah. Like, we get to a point where we're okay with saying, you know what, mentally I've had so much trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma that I need to find a way to deal with this. So when people hear the album, I want them to hear a person like me that people consider, oh man, he's in the Word, he believes in God. I want them to see that I deal with everyday struggles too, and I'm trying to grow from them as well as lean on God and His grace. So when people hear the album, I will hope that they hear a vulnerable voice that's seeking grace but finding peace at the same time. Not only that, I'm hoping when people hear the album, they find their own healing within themselves. And I feel like that me being vulnerable, going back to honesty brings healing, right, my honesty will help other people start their healing process.
Gotcha. Absolutely, man. Well, I say it again, I'm extremely excited to listen to it. You know, I hope everybody else is as excited as I am. It all works out. Good deal, man. Well, hey, man, we thank y'all for taking the time to listen to us. Again, this is my brother Floyd, my Tre, as some of y'all know him. I'm sure the album is going to be a blessing to us. And I hope that it don't take 3 years to get back here again. So, but if so, hey, it is what it is. Let's enjoy what we have now, and you know, let's go out. Let's be better. Let's be honest. Because hey, what better time than now?
Exactly.
Had to make sure my mind clear. These squares trying to box me in, but can't box me out. They be talking like they know what they talking about. Truth is, homie, I was.
I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, you good? You get everything out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.